Hitters, we are going to do a review and breakdown of the first 3 episodes of Arcane Season 2, starting now. Welcome to the Nerd Social. I am Colin.
And I'm Paula.
So this is now the second season of Arcane. We have waited 3 years and a lot of anticipation for this series to come out because of what happened in season 1 and also the big cliffhanger that happened in the end. The first episode is called Heavy is the Crown. It is directed by Arnaud, Delord, Bart, Maunoury, Pascal, Charrue, and Etienne, Mattera, and is written by Amanda Overton. The second episode is titled Watch It All Burn, which is also directed by Arnaud, Delord, Bart, Maunoury, and Marietta, and is written by Luddington. The third episode is Finally Got the Name Right, which is directed by Arnaud, Delord, Bart, Maunoury, and Christielle Abigail, and it is written by Henry Jones. So, Paula, I want to hear what you have to say, spoiler-free thoughts about the first 3 episodes of Arcane Season 2.
It was great. It was hot. It was just action after action. I really love that they really just picked up where they left off 3 years ago. It was a bit hard because it has been 3 years, so it was a bit hard to remember all of the details of what happened in the first season, especially when it came to the different relationships. But overall, I felt like it had the same pace. It really felt as if 3 years didn't go by. So can't wait for episode 4.
Yeah, I just think that in this second season, there's parts of it that's even better. And I thought season 1 was amazing. And I heard from Nathan when he first watched it, he was like, this is almost visceral experience that you have. It really is, because it's just visually stunning. The animation is just amazing. And you understand also why it takes 3 years in between seasons, because it is a lot of animation that goes into it. It's almost like the Spider-Verse series on Sony, and that took a while for them to do the animation. And in terms of storyline, it's just as deep and interesting as it is. I chalk it up to almost like Final Fantasy X if you played PS2, and also Metal Gear Solid if you played that series as well. The emotional connection that you have with these characters is just so good and it's so amazing. Of course, the main storyline still revolves around the sisters, Vi and Jinx, that are on opposing sides. This does not deviate, but also the secondary characters is so amazing in itself. And it's almost like Lord of the Rings, where you want to know what each of them are doing, what side they're on, and also they are very significant to the larger story at hand. One other thing is that you don't have to play the video game League of Legends to really get into the story. It really stands it by itself, and it's really amazing in that sense. And as I said, season 1 was just as excellent, but you don't necessarily have to go back to season 1 if you don't want to. You can just pick up where you are seeing right now in season 2. But yes, if you want some more context, if you want some more of why things were what they were, you should check out the first 9 episodes if you can. And overall, still very good by itself and a very compelling story. Having said that, what rating, Paula, would you give the first 3 episodes of Arcane Season 2?
I would give it a 9.
Okay.
I didn't give it a 10 just because I felt like the beginning was just a bit slow. And for me, I had to really think hard about a few things that happened in season 1.
Yeah.
Was a little bit of disconnect for me when I started watching it. It did not take a long time. And then I feel like it's only the first 3. I cannot give it a perfect score yet. There's so much more to come.
Yeah, I think that I would slightly disagree with you on that. I think that I would give it a 10 because I just think that this is such an amazing series. I think that the music, I'm a musical guy, and I just love the music. They had so much different genres of music in there, and it made the action just pop on the screen, not just visually it popped. Just that is just so great. It is
fight scene. Oh, so amazing. And I just watched the fight scene as if it was a like masterpiece. Yeah. Right,
exactly. And for me, it's probably the best show of this year. And I did X-Men 97, and I thought that was really good. I did this with David, and we went through all 10 episodes, but this is just another level up. So of those fans that were really interested in X-Men 97, I would highly suggest that you get into this because this is really good. It's Spider-Verse very good in terms of animation. And I thought Nathan was exaggerating when he first watched season 1. I was like, are you sure? This is just like anime. What are you talking about? Netflix just puts out anime all the time. And even with the Netflix stuff that's come out in terms of anime, I would say that this is better than any of the anime that's out there. And for me, it's probably, when it's all said and done, it might be an all-timer for me. It was like some of the best stuff that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
No, I think that there's a lot of transcending pop culture moments that I've experienced before. And I think that Avengers is one, and I think The Matrix was a really big one. I think it will level up there if the story continues to be this good. Paula, do you have anything else to say before we get into spoilers territory?
No, let's get into it.
Okay. So if you like our conversation about Arcane Season 2 and about what we do here on the Nerd Social, please like, share, subscribe for more. We really appreciate your support, and we are growing as a channel. So without further ado, spoilers ahead. So we start off when Jinx had a weapon, bombed the whole council building, and we are left with the damage from that. And Jinx has become pretty much enemy number one of Piltover. And you can definitely tell the big class divide that happened, that was established in season 1, which is continuing in season 2 here. And what are some of the consequences that happened? And we also see that Victor, who is a very brilliant scientist, but very introverted, was severely wounded. Jace was the one who rescued him, and he's now in this pile of goo trying to revitalize. We will get to him later on where he does get out of it, but in episode 1, he's still there, like in this stasis. We don't really know. It's like X magic. We also see some of the after effects of the attack when Caitlyn's mother, Cassandra, died. And Caitlyn goes through a journey here in these 3 episodes. I think that she really becomes almost one of the main characters of the storyline, whereas the other ones are like the secondary characters for now. But Caitlyn really comes into her own. And Paula, what are your thoughts about Caitlyn's ascension in these 3 episodes?
I think with her mother passing, she was thrown into this position that she really didn't expect to be in so soon. So you see her as, at the same time that she's grieving her mom, we also just see her going through this phase of having to take over her mom's responsibilities, which she's almost forced to put a pause on her grief, or not able to like fully grieve because she just has all of these other responsibilities. She gotta get on it. So you really see her grow up, mature really fast. And I have to say, it took a lot of strength for her to be able to have the perspective of, okay, no, this is not the whole underground. It's only one person that we need to go after. I thought that was, considering that she was grieving, I thought that showed great maturity.
Yeah, I agree with you. She's really gone through a lot, and with a lot of restraint, because you could argue that she could go the other way. And this is the conflict that she has with Vi, because Vi is from the underground. But we find out later on that they're in love, and that adds another dynamic. Also, at the beginning of this episode, she's trying to convince Vi to be part of the Enforcers, whereas Vi was like, no, I don't want to be a part of this. Why would I want to be a part of something that I was fighting against for most of my life? And she had these feelings that she will sell out, but at the same time, her sister is the enemy. But what convinced her of trying to be part of the Enforcers is through a young girl Her name is Maddie, and she becomes part of the task force to go down to Zod later on. But in the first episode, we see her being inspired, and Vi is downtrodden, but then you see Maddie and she's, oh my gosh, I really do make a difference. And I think that put her over to wear the uniform, even though she had a lot of self-doubt. We also see they were having a memorial of all the counselors that died, and then they were attacked by a member of the underground as well. Her name was Kem Baroness Rennie. So Kem Baroness Rennie's son was actually killed by Jace. Jace, back in season 1, was one of the scientists turned counselors, also a lover with Mel, which we saw in season 1. I don't want to say that he's Christian Cole from House of the Dragon, but he has all these weird thinking, elitists. He's stouting. I find him at times to be annoying. He's lost in a lot of ways. And we don't know what's going to happen in the next few episodes, but in the first 3 episodes, he definitely was a secondary character, and he seems like a lost puppy at times. But we also see the flip side of it, which is Embess is Mel's mother, and we saw her being a very powerful force to be reckoned with back in episode 1. In these episodes, she really reminds me of Amanda Waller from the DC world. She is just hard as nails, ruthless to a certain degree, but of course, she is for the benefit of the people, and it also brings into tension with Mel because Mel's on the council and her mother is much more on the military side of things. At the end of the first episode, we get a tag, one of the characters named Singed. I did a little bit more research because I was curious as to figuring out who is this guy. And he happens to be one of the League of Legends characters, but this is his origin story where he basically goes to a cave and finds these 2 wolves. We also see similar tags at the end of the 2nd and 3rd episode where Sing is experimenting with these wolves, and it's eerie and very scary at times too. Then we move on to the 2nd episode where we see a lot of the underground where Zod is located. They have a power vacuum, and so everyone's going out for themselves. We spent a lot of time with Smeech. Then there was a nice animation between all the different gangsters and underworld bosses, dialoguing what's going to happen next, who's going to fight for power. We also see Civica, who is one of Silco's lieutenants that was there, and Jinx is the one that hasn't gone to a point where she's mobilizing anyone yet, but you know that she's the big bad, and she's leveled up even since season 1. Paula, what are your thoughts about the underworld brewing in the first part of episode 2, and also of Jinx's evolution?
So first, let me just say that I also love the animation to show what has been going on in the underground since Silco's death. You see all of his partners fighting for power, so I really love all of that. But the evolution of Jinx, it's almost as if Jinx is just left. Whoever Jinx was before, you barely see any traces of that girl.
Yeah.
She has fully embraced who Silco groomed her to be, which is a little bit of somebody who is obviously unstable.
Yeah.
But you could also see that she is the one to be feared in the world, and no one wants to mess with Jinx.
Yeah, there was 2 fight scenes. There was one with Smeech. You thought that she was outmatched. She's small. Nope, she was not. She had all the inventions. There was the first fight scene in the beginning of the 2nd episode where there's an orphan child, Isha, who was there, and she gets attached to Jinx, and Jinx is like, go off, go away. And I wonder, and this might be a question for the audience and also for you, Paula, is that I wonder if that's going to bring the humanity back in Jinx. Or do you think it's just going to be another grooming situation for Jinx to take advantage of this young orphan?
I think it is going to bring back her humanity, not to the fullest, but it's going to somehow keep her somewhat grounded, or keep that connection that she used to have with Vi. So Isha gets attached to Jinx because Jinx saves her life.
Yes.
Right. And you do see how their relationship evolves, right? There's one moment where a sacrifice happens in a sense, and you could see Jinx being touched by that.
And then the other smaller storylines that happen is Victor gets out of his hex goo, and then he becomes like this cultish figure, and we see a glimpse of that. Not so much after this episode, something to think about in later episodes. We also see that Heimerdinger is the cat-like figure who is the founder of Piltover, and Echo, who is from the underground, and I think he was one of Vi's friends, and he develops into a smart inventor, and they're the ones that snuck into the lab later on. They did not really have a big role as well, but I think they do a good job of planting these seeds of the supporting characters. They may end up being significant later on. The reason why we're even talking about it is that they have something to do. In a lot of shows, the secondary characters don't have a lot to do. They just support the main characters. They don't care for them. Whereas in this one, you actually do care to some extent, which is a good thing to have. And then there was a fight scene where Speech gets killed pretty gruesomely, right? So they don't show that much, but it was pretty gruesome, to be honest with you.
They showed the green stuff, all of the green stuff.
Yeah, it was, I was like, okay, yeah. Speech is a very sinister character. Yes, he deserved that, but at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, did they really need to do that? But in any case, at the end of the episode 2, we see Singed again, and we don't have the heartbeat screenshot. It was pretty gruesome, like he's experimenting all these wolves, and I'm like, oh gosh, this guy is scary as hell at the end of each episode. Then we start off with episode 3, where the task force that was led by Caitlyn goes down to Zon and tries to smoke out all the people, but also try to find Jinx, which they almost did find her. That first few minutes was really visually stunning, much more so than the second episode. The second episode was okay, but the third episode, they put the music on it, and I was like, wow, this is like an experience. And they showed all the gray, and they smoked out all the people. It was really cool. We also see that Caitlyn and Vi's relationship starts to go, and this is the culmination of almost 3 years of will they or won't they? And they finally did. They finally came out, but I think that going back to what you said, Paula, Caitlyn has still been in a very vulnerable place, but she can't really hold it anymore. And then they kissed, and I was really happy for them. What were your thoughts about the kiss between Vi and Caitlyn?
I was just waiting for something to happen because you could feel the connection that they had. You could feel the love.
Is it?
I thought it's about time.
Yeah.
Finally.
But then they flipped it on us. They're like, nope, they kissed, but then they're gonna break apart, which I felt, oh man. But I get why they had to break apart, because what happened was, we'll get to that part, but before then there was an assassination attempt with the Black Rose. We get to see that the Black Rose then kidnaps Mel. They try to kill Mbessa here in this scene. And again, it's just putting in seeds for the storyline later on.
You also see that Mbessa made some type of deal with the Black Rose, a den of witches, and they're coming to collect, essentially. So now you understand that, okay, so maybe she's desperate, maybe she's acting out of fear, or she just needs to do something in regards to that, which may explain all of her actions.
We also have some more seeds planted with the Hex Vault, and we see that Jace and Heimerdinger and Echo goes into the Hex Vault. We don't know the full extent of this yet, but we probably will get to see it in later episodes. We also see the big fight between Vi and Jinx. They clash back in season 1, but then we see this is where the relationship falls apart, where Caitlyn is trying to shoot at Jinx. She did end up shooting Jinx in the finger. Finger falls off, but Vi basically told her not to shoot because Isha was there to protect Jinx. And because of that, Jinx escaped with Isha, but Caitlyn gets very upset that, why didn't you let me shoot her? I had her right on sight. And so Vi was like, no, it shouldn't be this way because we had a kid there. That's not the way we do things. So that leads to the other machinations where Invest is, oh, Caitlyn's upset. Maybe I should promote her to like commander-in-chief, and then I could declare martial law. So she's consolidating power here and basically doing the Amanda Waller thing of divide and conquer, and basically just taking power for herself, and also getting her daughter kidnapped. We don't know the after effects of what's going to happen with this. This is where Caitlyn gets promoted. You can tell by her face, I don't really want this, but I think I need to do this out of duty and responsibility, because one thing that we didn't get to is that the legacy of her family was really weighing heavily on her. And basically, she's really still conflicted in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So first, I really feel like Vi messed up. Vi should have let Caitlyn take the shot. And I think Vi used Isha as an excuse, and that the true reason is that she was lying to herself that she was ready to take on Jinx and put Jinx down when truly she wasn't. And Caitlyn saw that, and with all of the emotions, everything that she's been going through, she was just done. And that put Caitlyn into a situation that she really could not get out of, because this entire time, Mel had been pressured to just go and invade the underground. Caitlyn and Mel wanted to do the right thing, which was just to go get Jinx, and that's it. So coming back from that mission, after saying that she will get Jinx, coming back empty-handed, she couldn't say no to emotion of feeling betrayed that she's probably now letting out about her mom. So I just feel like she could no longer keep a lid on her emotions.
It's a good point, definitely. And we see at the very end of episode 3 another tag with Sing here, but now this is a very eerie wolf human hybrid that he's creating. We don't know what that has in store, and you wouldn't want to be in a dark corner with that looking at you right there. That was just like, wow, very scary stuff. Any final thoughts before we wrap up the first 3 episodes here?
Great start. I'm excited. I'm a little scared of how they're going to wrap up this final season, because it feels like there's so much to be done. There's so many different storylines going on. So I hope they really end it, because this show deserves a great ending.
Yeah. Also, it's been speculated online that they're gonna do other League of Legends things. So they might do a spinoff. Because again, the main storyline is Vi and Jinx. So who knows if they want to take on some of the secondary characters and then make their own League of Legends story. That's what's been speculated online, but I'm not sure because it might take them 6 years to make it, but maybe not. I think that they were not ready for the reception that they were going to get with this show. So that's why it took 3 years for them for it to come out. I think if they're smart, they're probably going to be like, oh, this show is really good. Maybe we should start animating the spinoff right now, or doing the story right now while the show is hot, so that you can reduce the time frame in between the shows. Netflix is very opaque about these type of things. We don't really know what's going to happen. So that's all we have to say about Arcane, episodes 1 through 3 of season 2. We would like to hear what you have to say about these 3 episodes. Please comment down below. Like, share, subscribe for more content like this. And we will see you in the next one. All right. Take care, everybody.